Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Jealousy, How to Deal with It, with subtitles from Tsem. So, I'm kind of curious, because jealousy is a very powerful emotion. And how would you deal with that? Okay, I haven't really thought about this. Let me try to think about it. Let's see if there's any kind of quick thoughts that come to my mind. Have I been jealous before? Absolutely. So I know what it's like. Um, the only thing that comes up to my mind is like, deal with it. I mean, you're going to have to deal with it, but what's an easier way to deal with it? I'm not too sure. I would have to think about it honestly. And there are different kinds of jealousy. You know, there's of course jealousy for a loved one. There's jealousy of items, material things, and there's jealousy of grades, which is not necessarily materialistic. And then I'm sure there might be some other jealousy type stuff, but it all depends. But what's the universal way of handling jealousy? So let's go to give this video a shot.
Jealousy is an emotion that when we see someone doing, acting, performing something, and they get good results. Perhaps it could be praise, perhaps it could be rewards, perhaps it could be recognition. Deep down inside, we don't feel happy. We don't feel happy, and we feel unsettled, and we start seeing that person for their achievements and perhaps how it affects us. And it's not so much how that person affects us, it's about what that person did that they got what we wanted and we didn't get that affects us. So jealousy is really not about another person. It's about what someone else does, and that resurrects or brings alive or brings to the surface or brings to our attention what we didn't do or wish to do or couldn't accomplish. So
I'll say this too. It's probably also another thing that you can add to that is perhaps not necessarily that we didn't accomplish, but because an accomplishment means you did something. But there are some people out there who feel like they deserve it. It's still closely related to what it says, but I think deserve is something that's a little bit more in line with jealousy as well. And a little bit more of an entitlement, which I think is a growing thing in developed areas. Let me say it that way, but very much so in yeah, developed areas, developed countries. I mean, don't get me wrong; it happens all over the world, regardless of whether it's developed or not. But I do believe it to be probably a little bit more so in these areas because there's a lot more things to be jealous of, as opposed to say like more of a, say, a country village or something like that, where there are a few things you can be jealous for: your crops not growing, your wife, the women, and perhaps the money, and maybe the house. But on in like a big city, you're gonna have like the big house, the more money, the wife, still all the same things as a small village, but then also your status and your just everything, because there is just so much more in a big city. But there, amazingly, there's still a lot of similarities between a big city and a small city. But again, I do want to also add to the fact of people who think they deserve it. Like, he doesn't deserve it. It's not the fact that they didn't achieve it. They felt like they achieved it and I deserve it. I achieved it. I deserve it. It should have been mine. They don't deserve it.
what's very important to remember in this case is the 8 worldly dharmas and also karma. That's very, very important. And the reason for that is because when other people work for something, when other people put their effort in and they sacrifice something else and put an effort to get something, we have to realize that they put in the hard work, they put in the time, they put in the effort, they put in the sacrifice, they put in what we were not willing to put in or not enough or maybe not able to. So they got the result. When they get the result, we must feel happy. We must rejoice for them. Why? It's a democratic, karmically driven world. A democratically karmically driven world is what do I mean by that? What I mean by a karmically democratic driven world is that if you create the karmic causes, you can have the same results. So if someone else creates the karmic causes, they can have those results. So if we truly believe in a universal philosophy thinking of karma, we have to rejoice. Why do we have to rejoice? Very simple. They create the karma, they got the results. How come if we do something good and we get the good results,
We deserved it.
wouldn't we want other people to be happy? Wouldn't we want other people to rejoice?
I will say this though. Hold on, let me rewind it. I'm already rewinding in the very beginning. We have to rejoice. There's the issue right there. Have to. You shouldn't have to rejoice, because having to rejoice means that you're forcing yourself to. So if you force yourself to rejoice, it doesn't change the fact that you're still jealous. So you should want to rejoice. That's perhaps a better word for it. We want other people to rejoice our success. We would want that. Absolutely. Want is not a demand. Have to kind of is. So keyword difference there. I think he probably meant to say we would want to be happy for them, much like we would want them to be happy for us when we do good or achieve our goals.
When we do good things, when we do positive things and we get the good results and other people are not happy, then we feel sad because we say, look, I sacrificed so much, I gave up so much, I really put so much effort, and I'm still not recognized. I'm not appreciated. I'm not thanked. And they say bad things. They feel jealous. Well, look, same thing goes the other way around. If we truly take refuge in karma, then jealousy will become less. Why is that? Because karmically, that person created the causes to get what they are getting. And on a very universal level, you get what you work for. So if that person has worked 3-4 hours extra every day, for example, in the office, to be recognized, to be accepted, to have their work become well known, or to become a person that people respect, and you're not willing to put in 3-4 hours because you want to do something else, you want to have your own free time or me time or whatever you want to label it. Well, if you don't get the recognition that they get, you shouldn't be jealous because they put in the 3 extra hours, and that could be 21 hours a week, and you didn't. So if you put in the 21 hours extra per week and you get the recognition and the appreciation, wouldn't you want everyone else to be happy? So therefore, karmically speaking, it's like this.
Real quick, I guess the question would state, I'm sure there are probably some people out there who are thinking of this. Imagine you are working this extra 3 to 4 hours, and the person that got the promotion didn't. Always left early, or maybe, let's say, 5 minutes after the boss left, because the boss would leave early a lot of days, and you would stay 3 to 4 hours overtime, mind you, and you don't get paid for overtime, and yet somehow the person that's leaving got the promotion. I guess I would be curious as to what the answer to that would be. Like they were lazy before they got the promotion, but because it's a teamwork between you and the other person, and all of a sudden the other person got the promotion and you didn't, even if you said something, the other person would say, no, we did this together. And just say, for example, it's like, well, he's lazy now, he's probably going to be lazy there. What if he starts working like he should have at that point once he got the promotion? Again, it's a lot of interesting, maybe not interesting, but a lot of ways of thinking about things and how to resolve this, because I know there's people out there who ask many different questions, and maybe it has happened to them, and what would be the answer then? Because obviously, if it makes logical sense that they work 3 to 4 hours every day, you can't complain that they got the promotion. Clearly they deserved it because they worked overtime. It's like, you know what, that dude worked 20 more hours extra than I did, I can't complain about that, logically thinking. But then when you work 20 extra hours every week and they did not, how would you feel then? And they got the promotions. Which, by the way, interesting enough, I say this because I know this.
If they create the karma, and they get the result, you have to accept it on a very deep level. The deep level is that karmically, they have created the results. So if you're jealous of that, if you're unhappy about that, then you're truly not accepting karma. You're truly not accepting the way the things work. You see, because you can't not put in the hours, put in the sweat, the tears, and pay your dues and still want the results. That's not logically possible. So therefore, when we see other people with good results, when we see other people, they get respect and they get praise and they're appreciated and people really like them for what they're doing, we should in fact rejoice. When we rejoice and we contemplate on karma and the karmic results, when we rejoice, what happens? We create the karma to start countering our jealousy. It will not change overnight. It will not disappear overnight. It will not go away overnight, but it will start going away because we start recognizing where our mind is coming from. So therefore, if we take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, out of the three refuge, the most important is the Dharma, because the Dharma is what really saves us from us. The Dharma is what really saves our loved ones from us. It is what saves the loved ones from us harming anyone around us, them or anyone else. So when we take refuge in the Dharma, one of it is to recognize karma. When you recognize karma, you will accept the fact that other people can do better because they put in the effort. Look, if you're psychologically always scared, you don't want to offend people, and you don't want to push yourself to do more because you don't want to offend, your fear of not offending people offends people. Why? Eventually, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not speaking what's on your mind. You're not pushing yourself to the next level. And instead of worrying about one or two people you might offend, although you're not wanting to, you're not benefiting 10 or 20 people you could have if you've spoken up or said something. So therefore, when you are so worried about offending people, you're so worried about other people in the wrong way, you don't benefit many more people that you could have. So similarly, if someone who speaks up, they're direct, they're open, and they're very honest, and then because of that, they get praise. Because of that, they get appreciation. Because of that, people listen to their opinions. Because of that, they make headways. You shouldn't be jealous because you are attached to your face. You are attached to your appearance as opposed to benefiting others. No one can speak one word and everybody agrees. But if the majority gets benefit, why not? So similarly, another thing that we need to consider is that when we are jealous, we are not doing something to benefit others. We're not doing something that because we want to help others. We are not doing something because we're having the other person's benefit in mind. For example, if we are doing something to benefit others, then it must be free of the 8 worldly dharmas. One of them is to receive praise or appreciation or name or fame or thank yous or a position. Now, if we're doing things with the motivation of ourselves, pretending or feigning or thinking we want to benefit others, but that's not really the motivation, then we will not feel happy if we don't get appreciated. We will not feel happy if people don't thank us. Why? Very great masters, very great practitioners, very great people, people that are not even, of a religious background. But when they do good things and when they do wonderful things, the person being benefited, the person being happy, the person being relieved of their particular problem, that makes that other person happy. They don't need recognition and all that. So therefore, we can check our minds. What are we doing it for? If another person does something good and we feel jealous, definitely it is a clear indication that we are not doing our actions with the benefit of others in mind, that we are doing our actions for one of the 8 worldly dharmas, for example, praise and recognition or material benefit. So if we always live our life according to the 8 worldly dharmas, we will always have jealousy, we will always have the lack of peace of mind or sadness or loneliness or rejection or moodiness. One of the direct results that one can have as a result of having the 8 worldly dharmas intact, which is very bad, is moodiness. Your mood will go up and down because when someone else gets recognized and you don't, you feel down, you feel unhappy. And the bad thing is, if we let this jealous energy or jealous thought or mind or attitude remain, it's very harmful. Why? Then pretty soon, whatever anybody does that's good, we can't take it. Whatever positive comes out for other people, we can't take it. Pretty much, we can't hear any good news. We can't hear any good things. We can't even relate to anything vaguely related to us that happened to someone else that's good. Why? Because it would resurrect what we did not do or what we should have done. And then we become bitter. And then we become angry. Then we become unhappy. And then we start rejecting people. We don't want to hear news. Or we might even start gossip and slander. Gossip, slander, schism comes from jealousy. Why? They're doing something you didn't do. They're doing something or got the result of something you didn't wish to do. You didn't put in the effort, or you didn't try, or you try, you didn't succeed. So instead of rejoicing for them, we say negative things. We create slander. We create unhappiness. We create words that make other people feel not so good, or we attempt to make them feel not so good about something that happened good for others. I repeat, when we talk schism, when we talk down, when we put other people's achievement down and we're not happy, it is not about the other person. It is about us and our jealousy going out of control. When our jealousy goes out of control, pretty much we become bitter, we become angry, and we cannot recognize, or we don't wish to recognize, and we don't want other people to have happiness or rewards for what they have done. And that's very dangerous. And jealousy will make us bitter. It will make us alone. It will make us segregated. And that's not good. No one deserves that. So to counter this, we need to look deeper into karma and think, look, the great leaders have the karma to be great leaders. They were humble. They served others. They helped others in their previous lives. Therefore, they get the result of being able to influence others in a massive way by becoming leaders. So I rejoice in the leadership of good leaders. I rejoice. I don't feel jealous. When other people have wealth, it's because in their previous life they have given. I rejoice for their wealth. When other people have happiness, or they have a good relationship, oh, I'm so happy. Because previous life, this life, whenever, they always spoke words, or they always had an attitude, or they always did actions to bring people together. Because they did that, now they are together with someone and they don't have loneliness. I rejoice. I feel very happy. So when we rejoice at the good results of other people, it is a direct counter to our jealousy. And our jealousy will not go away overnight, but it will start to dwindle. Why? Because we recognize that their success is not our problem. We recognize that good things that happen to others should not be a problem for us.
It's really weird to word it that way. It's like, man, that dude's a billionaire. He got everything he wanted. I'm glad it's not my problem. It's like too much money and everything that you wanted is not my problem. It's just a funny way to say that, though. You know, it's kind of like when you see someone who's poor and suffering. It's like, well, god dang, I'm glad it's not glad it's not my problem. You know, someone's in trouble. I'm glad it's not my problem. Someone's a billionaire. I'm glad it's not my problem. It's like, wait, hold on. Maybe I do want that to be my problem. It's just a really weird way to say that it's not my problem. I don't know if that's the right word to say it. Like, you know, right way to say it. It's weird to say that being successful is a problem. um, but I don't know. You couldn't say that's not my problem, but I don't know if this is a better way to say it, but you shouldn't necessarily compare yourself to other people because you'll be sorely disappointed. And this is something I was watching on YouTube about what is it? It talks about how in the United States women are becoming more and more unhappy, and because of social media a lot. And what they do is they compare their success with other people on the social medias. It's like, oh man, I want to fly to Bahrain or Dubai or wherever. Oh, I want to ride in a gigantic 54-foot yacht. Ooh, I want a private jet. That's what I want for my life. And they have this really, really high expectation, and they're sorely disappointed and jealous of all these people. And this is what they want for their life, and they're not willing to settle. So it's a bit of an unrealistic expectation because they see this as like they're flipping through like 50 influencers who has all of this stuff and thinks, oh, this is so common. When in reality, a lot of this stuff that you see on social media is fairly rare. It's just that it's easily accessible, and when you see this glamorous life, it tends to be shared because it's something that, oh, I want this, share. It's like, this is what I want my life to look like. So you share it with your family, then your family shares it to everyone. So this rare thing now looks so common, but in reality, it's not, and it's a bit of an unrealistic expectation.
And if it is a problem, the problem is not them, but the problem lies within us. So, very good to recognize karma, to see how karma operates in that way. I wish you good luck. I hope this little explanation will help you. Thank you very much.
It does actually. It is a very interesting way to. Of course, he brings it back to Buddhism with eight dharmas, I believe. But I guess for me, is I have to look at practical and, of course, the spiritual, I suppose you could say. And what I mean by practical, it's just like, obviously, if you're a spiritual person, you know to do whatever it is that your guru or swami has taught you. If you ever feel a certain way or whatever, you can do meditation or prayer or whatever it may be. And but a person who doesn't do that, like me, for example, I look at practicals, and what I have to understand is so practical. I have to think of it logically, if I can, um, which would be, if I look at the situation, I have to understand the situation. If the person got promoted over me, I have to understand why. Uh, Again, like the scenario that I was thinking about earlier, I understand why certain people got promotions, so I'm not jealous of that at all. Using myself as an example here. But that doesn't mean that I see there's still a wrong there. It has nothing to do with the people who got promotion. I completely understand why they got promotion. And but there's still a wrongdoing here that I need to address. Do I feel hurt by it? I don't think so yet. But there is something wrong there that needs to be addressed. Am I suffering from it? No. I just know there's something wrong and I have to try to fix it. If I can fix it, that's great. If I can't, I can't. It's simple as that. Again, um, so am I hurt? Am I suffering from it? No, not at all. But there's obviously something that needs to be said, and I need to resolve it myself. I know what needs to be done. If I delay it or if I choose not to, then it's on me. But again, I'm not really too worried about it just yet. But like I said, I have to think of a practical. So I'm not a spiritual person per se, so I don't do meditation or whatever it may be that is recommended for people, depending on who your guru or swami is, to do in situations like this. I think of practical and understanding. So I understand the situation as much as I can and understand why certain things happen. And then if it makes sense, it makes sense. So far, most things, of course, make sense in the world if you pay attention. Some things you're not gonna know. You're not gonna know everything. Like, why did this person get promoted? It's like, well, I never really work with the guy. I don't really see him. He always works outside, so I don't know what caused them to get a raise. You could ask around. It's like, what this person does? Yeah, he goes house to house and makes the sales. It's like, oh man, and all I do is just sit here. So he really puts in the work, and that's the reason why he deserves the promotion. But again, does practicality and understanding always work? For the most part, I think it does. There's going to be occasions where it doesn't. I'm sure there is, and that's why you need another, another different way of handling that situation. So, anyways, what's a practical way of dealing with jealousy? If you don't have, say, if you don't follow this particular set of Buddhism, or spiritual in the sense of that you have to understand that you are not your emotions, even though that's something that's very logical to understand, but it's still, even if it's logical and easy to understand, it's still an emotion that's very difficult to control because I mean, it's an emotion. Emotions are not logical, so that's why I want to try to think of a practical way to hopefully get the emotion out and the logic in, if possible. Um, the only thing you can really do is try to understand why you're jealous, and then understand the situation. It's again, I can't exactly say a very hard answer because jealousy happens in many different ways. Jealousy of a person, jealousy of materialistic things, jealousy of a title or of whatever the case may be, and each of those has a different logical answer or reason behind it. But That's all I can really say. I said a lot. Oh my god, I said a lot. Anyways, just my reaction to jealousy, how to deal with it, and with subtitles with Tsem. If you like my content, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, the sound down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.